Yeah. Throwing bottle caps on the floor, baby. That's what kind of day it is. Ding, 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 ding. I'm drinking beer because I got the day off, baby. I'm drinking beer because I have the day off. Din, 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 din. Bam, 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 bam. Ding, 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 ding. Drinking beer because I have the day off, yeah. So that's what I'm doing. I didn't really mean to throw the bottle cap on the floor, but I did it, and there's no turning back now. That's how this episode is going. It's a beer caps on the floor type of episode, baby. And I got plenty more beer caps and plenty of floor. So get at me. I almost started this episode off completely wrong. And I don't even care about the bottle caps on the floor. I almost used this wine opener to open up this beer, but no, fuck that. This is a wine openers and bottle caps on the floor kind of episode. Why? Want to know why? I'll tell you why. Because today, I'm drinking Heineken. All right? This is the first time on Big Kid with Will Bryant. I'm your host. I'm Will Bryant. That we're drinking Heineken on the show. I used to claim that Heineken was like my first favorite beer ever. You know what? I'm still in love with this beer. I still love Heineken. I love Heineken. I love its little sister Heineken Light. I'll drink it all. But here's the thing. I never worked at a bar in 7 years that sold Heineken. Until now. The Comedy Cellar finally actually sells Heineken. Closest thing I ever came to is Heineken Zero. So technically, yes, but not really. Why am I bringing all this up? Because years ago, I was gifted this bottle opener. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, big deal. Who gives a fuck? I give a fuck. Because this bottle opener is a Heineken bottle opener. Specifically from the Heineken factory in Amsterdam. It was given to me by my friend Monica. And she's like, oh, here, now that you're a bartender, I figured you could use this. And it was a very thoughtful present, except for the fact that I've only worked in places that did craft beer until now. So it took like 7 years of me being in the industry. I guess I'm going on 8. And it took, I don't know, probably good 5 years of me having this and never using it. And I finally cracked it open a couple of months ago, and I use it at work now. So cheers. Thank you. Thank you, Monica. Actually, she texted me yesterday. She texted me that she was, speaking of, I guess she just goes on tours of alcoholic places because she was touring the Budweiser factory in St. Louis yesterday. I'm not making that up. She literally, these are 2 stories about Monica that involve her touring 2 different alcoholic establishments. So anyways, she was in St. Louis yesterday touring the Budweiser factory or warehouse or whatever it is. The Budweiser Playhouse. And somebody yells at her, "Go Islanders," as in the hockey team. And she was all confused, like, what the fuck? She looks down and she forgot that she was wearing a New York Rangers t-shirt. That happens to be my t-shirt that got her heckled at this factory, this Budweiser factory in St. Louis. And it got me thinking of how we have the type of friendship, the audacious type of friendship where she has my shirt and I have one of her shirts as well. We have both had each other's shirt going on years now. Multiple years. I once let her borrow a shirt and she once let me borrow a tank top. And neither one of us has had the decency of returning the shirt to the other person in years. Here's how audacious our friendship is. Here's the audacity that we have in our friendship or with our friendship with one another. We have traveled together and spent, a weekend like at the Poconos with a group of friends or camping with our friends. We spend weekends together and we'll wear each other's shirt right in front of the other person with zero intention of returning it. And we always look at the other person like, oh yeah, I remember that shirt. It looks good on you. In fact, I think our shirts look better on the other person and we both know it. And I think we're just going to leave it that way. We've never officially given the shirt to anybody. It's technically still mine and mine is still hers. But I don't think either one of us are ever getting our respective shirts back. Good, because I kind of rather have that. I have like a tank top that I think says Rolling Stones on it. The funny thing is she could care less about the Rolling Stones. Truth is, she could probably care less about the Rangers too, but she probably gets more mileage out of that Rangers shirt. It's just a really comfortable t-shirt. And I look like a full-blown hippie when I wear that shirt, so it's right up my alley. What's up and welcome to another episode of Big Kid with Will Bryant. That was your intro. This is your host. I'm your host. I'm Will Bryant. Thank you for tuning in to another beautiful episode. It's not really that summery anymore, is it? Suddenly this week it's I don't know, that summer went by fast, didn't it? Follow me at I'm Will Bryant on all platforms. That's Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, X, Threads, Spotify. That's 3 words. I'm Will Bryant. Like Kobe. Cold though, a little bit. I liked it for like 10 seconds, and then I was like, fuck, I need a sweater. Felt like a bitch, and suddenly I was like, I did not thoroughly enjoy enough of the hot weather this summer, man. Especially me, because, man, as a smoker, I don't smoke in my own crib. Thankfully, I have a backyard, so I can just go to the backyard and smoke whenever I want. But when it's December and I got to put on like a sweater and a fucking jacket just to get my smoke on, it's a little... I definitely take for granted like these months when I could just go out in flip-flops, a shirt and shorts, and just enjoy the smoke without layering up just to have a puff. I think that's the only shirt that I have from somebody that I never gave back. I'm no segues here. I'm just veering off topic and back. Sorry, guys, whatever. Tony once told me that your favorite articles of clothing will always be the ones that you got for free. He's like, whether it was like a gift or, you got it as some type of promotional thing. Or I guess even the ones that you steal, whether it be from from a store or from your friends. He said the things you get for free oftentimes become some of your more treasured articles of clothing. And it was something that I never... Tony, you remember saying that? It was something I never thought about before, but then when I looked through my own wardrobe at the time, I found it to actually be kind of true. And my favorite articles of clothing, they'll change throughout, like almost from year to year, And I remember at the time, he had actually like given me a free shirt from Kid Robot, and like that was one of my like favorite shirts that I own, just because I didn't own any Kid Robot stuff, and the only thing I did own was like a stolen item from an employee, and I was like, yeah, hell yeah. Or like, yeah, when someone gifts you like a dope shirt or something like that, you're almost like just more happy, more appreciative of it because it didn't cost you the $25 or $35 or something. So I guess, yeah, stealing a shirt from your friend, it implements that extra level of joy that an article of clothing can bring you. So I guess, if she obviously probably gets more out of my Ranger shirt than I ever will. If it was a Knicks shirt, maybe. But hockey's all right. I man, there's this class that's associated with the Comedy Cellar. It's actually like a workshop or a course for comedy. It's they do like 10. There's two teachers, and each one takes like only 10 students per, I guess, semester they call it. It's usually, I think, like a 6-week course or something like that. And they work on essentially how to, they teach you the anatomy of joke writing and help you put together a 5-minute set, pretty much minute by minute. And the final week is a showcase, is what they call it. And essentially, it's your final exam where you put your 5 minutes of material together and you go up on a Comedy Cellar stage in front of that famous Comedy Cellar backdrop, and you perform your 5-minute set to an audience. It's usually like, people that you and other classmates have invited, so it's not complete strangers at least, but still. And it's recorded, so at the end, you now have an official recorded 5-minute set piece of content of you doing comedy. It's pretty cool. I was interested in doing that before the year ends and figured that'd be a great way to achieve the goal I put on that I made for myself, which was to get on stage and do 5 minutes before the year ends. I was talking to the guy that teaches one of the classes. He's been around for a long I mean, he might have been there since the Cellar first started. If not, he's been there pretty much near the beginning. I was just trying to see if I could see when he started, but no, not really. But yeah, he had been there for probably like I guess at this point it's 40 years. 40 years, I guess. Anyways, I didn't even say his name. Rick Chrome. This dude Rick Chrome, he's probably been there since the 80s or whatever. He's up there in age. He's really, really. He has a very, you know what he reminds me of? Like a coach or a manager that breaks down some athletic footage, like some tape on baseball or football, and you see something simple, like, oh, this guy ran down the middle and scored, and he'll see the 4 other things on the field that made that possible. He's very much that. He reminds me of that with jokes, because I had perhaps a 20-minute conversation I opened the Olive Tree Cafe the other day, and he came in to get ready for the showcase. Actually, he ordered a cappuccino, and he was gonna actually go over and kind of prepare some notes because he was gonna host the showcase, and my coworker and comedian Zach Gish was going to open the show, and then the students were gonna go on with the showcase. And instead of doing anything for his to prepare, we ended up talking. Me, him, and my coworker. We ended up talking for probably 20, 30 minutes. And we were just picking his brain about the way he teaches and whatnot. And I felt I immediately felt like I could definitely get something from taking that course, and hopefully it was in that conversation that I learned that it is completely booked for the rest of the year. So I'm going to, I guess, be more aware of signups for next year. But I'm going to have to try to find another way to prepare myself and get ready to get on stage by year's end. Just because those shows are all booked up does not mean that I'm going back on the goal that I set for myself to be on stage by the end of the year. So I just got to find another way to feel ready, to feel prepared, to feel like I can get there. Rick said something that had this effect on my head where like I just felt like someone turned a light bulb on. And he said something about, I'm sure I'm going to misquote him, but he told me, or he said that there's a difference between humor and comedy, and that it takes a sense of humor to be a comedian. But humor alone won't get you there. And the way he explained it to me was that you can tell a humorous story. There can be humor within a story, but that doesn't necessarily make that story a comedic one. Comedy essentially uses humor and exaggerates it so that the reaction is more extreme. The reaction is a laugh and not just entertainment from hearing it. He used the example of a simple story. He's like, imagine your mother tells you that she went to Atlantic City with like 3 of her friends, and she was ready to gamble away her money at the casino. And that on her way to the casino, she stops at like all the gift shops on the way there, and that the gift shops were so expensive that she ended up spending all of her gambling money at the gift shops on her way to the casino and never even spent a single cent gambling at the casino itself. She can tell that story to her 3 friends that she went to Atlantic City with over brunch mimosas the next day. And her friends will be like, oh, haha, that's so like you to do that. That's so typical of you. Ha ha ha. That'll entertain her group of friends over brunch. But if she gets on stage and she tells that story that same way to a group of people expecting comedy, she's going to bomb. What you take that premise of spending all your money at a gift shop before you are able to gamble it away, and you work on it, you peel away the layers and figure out what about it is it that makes it funny. And you try to find something within that. Like what? Like, all right, you lose your money at the gift shop because stuff is so expensive. All right, so what else is expensive? I don't know, like buying a house. How do how do you buy a house? And you take out a mortgage or something like that. And so now you're exaggerating and you're making comparisons to something to like make the exaggeration more evident, more obvious. And instead of just saying that you couldn't gamble because you bought stuff at the gift shop, you say something like, I had all intentions of gambling my money away at the casino, but after I had to take out a mortgage loan at the gift shop for a bar of Snickers, I had nothing left over for the roulette table. Something like that you take what was humorous and you exaggerate it, you compare it to something, you blah blah. It was suddenly he was giving you like a blueprint for ways that you can even flirt with the notion of getting a laugh out of something humorous. Essentially, it was the first time that I spoke to somebody that knew what they were doing in the world of comedy, that was able to shed some light on what I feel is the biggest fear that I have in tackling this goal of mine, is that I believe that I am a very humorous person. I have a great sense of humor, and I do believe that I have an ability to tell a good story. I am a good speaker. I am a good talker. I'm a good storyteller. But where can I find the comedy within the storytelling, within the humorous stories that I have the ability to orate? I realize that I already have a little bit of a leg up in just, I am not worried with my ability to carry a story, to tell a story. He talked about how he often has to work with his students to just get them to a place where they can not sound so monotone. And in a way, he has to almost teach them how to act, and in a way, act like you're not nervous. I understood exactly what he meant, what he was talking about. I don't really see that being one of my issues. My biggest one is, in my opinion, is finding the punchline in things, finding the joke in things. I have plenty of funny stories, but I can't get on stage and just tell a funny story. There has to be points in the story where I purposely know I'm going to get a laugh, or at least attempting to. It's the difference between humor and comedy. I think I'm very humorous. I don't think I am a comedian by any sense of the word. I think the most I would say is perhaps I am at least a bit comedic. I have an idea about timing, but I think that there is something. I think there's a formula almost to joke writing that I just don't know. I truly believe that, and maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I really believe like I just need to learn a couple of things about the like architecture of a joke, and it'll be like the biggest push that I need to get me started. I'm not saying that then I'll figure it out and it's all easy. No. I'm just saying, like, right now I can't even get started writing a joke because I'm not sure what to do. You know what I can compare it to? As I crack open another Heineken with a bottle opener right out of Amsterdam. Thank you, Monica. Imagine someone that has a lot of musical ideas in their head, but doesn't know how to use the software to make a song, whether it be Pro Tools, Ableton, Fruity Loops, whatever. And then he takes a class where he learns how to use the software. And now he can start making his music. He can start making his beats, his tracks, whatever you want to call it. He's not immediately going to be a great producer, song maker, beat maker, but suddenly he's able to put these sounds that were in his head, lay them down and put them out into the world. And the more you do that, the better you get at that. But before you can even get there, you had to learn how to even use the program. That's what I kind of feel like that's where I feel like I am right now. I can't wait to start writing bad jokes so that I can get better and start writing better jokes. But to do that, I have to learn how to write a joke at all. And that's what I really need to get started on. This conversation that I had with Rick Chrome really was it was great because I learned a lot of like introductory things. And it was one of those conversations that made you realize how little you actually know about something. But the way that he spoke to me about it was not, I was not, I did not find myself unmotivated because I did realize I did not know so much. It didn't make me feel like this was a task too large to tackle. It made me feel like, all right, that was a lot of shit I didn't know. And although I now know that, it made me realize there's a lot more shit I don't know that I kind of can't wait to learn. It was a good conversation. And you know what? One that I don't even think he realized like was an important one to me at all. I think he just had fun killing a half hour before he had to go host a showcase. He doesn't even know my name. So, I mean, I'm just working at the Comedy Cellar, wanting to do what I want to do. I just take any opportunity I can to sit under a learning tree. And a place like the Comedy Cellar has learning trees growing all around. You know? You just got to know when to take your seat. I was looking through my I wrote down that thing on my notes, and it's really the only thing I wrote down this week. Every week around this time, I tell myself I have to get better at writing down shit to talk about on this podcast, and I really don't. I wish maybe I just don't live that interesting of a life. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Either way, point being, I saw something that I wrote down such a long time ago that I forgot that I wrote it down, but I figured why not just randomly bring it up now. I think what made me think about it more instead of scrolling past it was this idea that I find this to be a silly story, a humorous one, but there's no jokes in it. You know what I mean? Kind of like just what I was talking about moments ago. So it isn't just a completely out of the blue, oh my God, I forgot. Bottle cap on the floor kind of day, motherfucker. Can't believe I was nice and kept that on the table. Hell no. Hell no. I bet Dave or Cole was listening, and when I opened that up, they're like, he didn't throw the bottle cap on the floor. This fucking show was a sham. Well, I did. All right. And one of them is gonna text me right now and be like, I was about to call you out, but never mind. So yeah, this story. This is something I hadn't told this story to like someone in like forever, and I forgot who. I think I was just bartending one night, and I said this to a bunch of people, and they just found it to be pretty funny, and I was like, I guess I thought it was like an embarrassing story, but I guess I don't know. I feel like I've mentioned on the show before that I used to have this time when I was younger where I actually didn't like my name. My full name is William Bryant Hernandez. And at some point, I guess I didn't like, I don't really think I ever had an issue with Hernandez at first. Obviously, most people know me as Will Bryant now. And I can't wait for the day to come where someone out there is like, his real name is Hernandez. He's ashamed of his heritage. I mean, I always said when I started going as Will Bryant, which is basically just me changing my name from William Hernandez on social media to Will Bryant. That's literally all it was. And then suddenly the world started knowing me as Will Bryant. On Facebook years ago, probably over a decade ago at this point, I literally changed my name from William Hernandez to Will Bryant, and I changed my Facebook status to going by my Hollywood name now. And at that time, it was a complete joke, and a lot of people thought that I, took the name because of Kobe Bryant, and I'm like, no, that's actually my middle name. William Bryant Hernandez is my name, so Will Bryant is 100% not a lie. That's my name. At the time, I jokingly said going by my Hollywood name, but it is something I've kept forever since, and it kind of, I guess, is the truth now. Perhaps stage name is a little more accurate. Either way, there was a time where I thought William was kind of lame because for two main reasons. I thought it sounded really British, like Sir William, Prince William, Lord William Regal. For my wrestling fans out there, shout out to Kenny Omega. Wore this shirt in honor of All In this week in Wembley Stadium. Should be a fun event. Either way, William sounded so British. I didn't like the nickname Billy or Bill. And when Bill Clinton became president, and especially during that entire Monica Lewinsky scandal, any comparison that a Colombian and Puerto Rican kid from Queens had to a white president in a sex scandal was pretty annoying. I didn't like that I had the same name as him either. I never thought anything about my middle name, Bryant. Like, I knew it was my middle name for the longest time. I would never use it, ever. Never told anybody. And the main reason for that is I actually had a classmate from like kindergarten all the way to 8th grade whose first name was Bryant. And I hate to say this, but he was like probably the nerdiest and like most awkward kid in our grade. I mean, we ended up going to like the same high school together, and I realized then, I was like, okay, he's not just like a little weird. He's like really weird, because he ended up being one of the most like awkward kids in the entire high school, and my high school had like thousands in it. And so I was like, all right, I was not that off about this guy. Nice kid, great kid, smart, but awkward. And his name was Bryant. It's spelled exactly like me. Bryant. So I always associated the name Bryant with just the nerdiest, most awkward version of a human being that I could imagine. So you're giving me, I'm William, Sir William Bill, awkward ass Bryant Hernandez. I was like, well, Jesus, I have no chance. I've got no chance of succeeding in life. I'm fucking screwed. How am I supposed to be famous with this type of name? It wasn't until, and this may sound silly, it wasn't until Will Smith came out with Big Willie Style. I swear to God, getting jiggy with it, and just the two of us, Miami, bro. I own that album, so I'll give you deep cuts from that. It ain't just those, man. It ain't just the singles. But give me Candy, like candy. It's the same feeling. I'm getting started now. I'm getting started now. Jamie Foxx. Was that someone knocking on the door? I'm going to ignore that. Should I ignore that? Anyways. Jamie Foxx did interludes on that album as Keith B. Real, keeping it real here. I used to listen to the album from beginning to end. And it was Big Willie Style that made me okay with the name Will and like the name Willie. Only Willie had to be spelled W-I-L-L-I-E. Because if you spelled it W-I-L-L-Y, that reminded me of Chili Willy from Woody Woodpecker. W-I-L-L-I-E, Big Willie Style, Will Smith. Big difference. It wasn't until years later that I had my heart broken when I learned that Will Smith's real name is not William Smith at all. Well, it is Smith. It's not William. Let me just double check this right now so I'm not talking out my ass, but that's not his name. Will is not short for William. Nope, yep, and I found it here. And it's funny because there's an episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air where someone does call him William. So I think that even he is a little embarrassed about his actual name. Because Will Smith, Will is actually short for Willard. Willard Carroll Smith. I didn't know that till years later. But Will Smith made me think that, you know what? My name, William, ain't that bad. I think Will is cool. I was a fanboy of Will Smith pretty much from Big Willie Style all the way until pretty much until he slapped Chris Rock. If you would have told me, I always thought that the day that Will Smith won an Academy Award would be one of like my happiest moments for someone that I'm a fan of. And if you would have told me the day before those Oscars that 24 hours from now, Will Smith will win the Academy Award for Best Actor, and you will not give a single damn about it, I would have called you absolutely crazy. And then the next day, Will Smith gets up, walks over there, slaps the piss out of Chris Rock, walks back, and yells what we all know: "Keep my wife's name out your damn mouth." And that was it. Unfortunately, I haven't really been a huge fan of his since. But hopefully, hopefully that changes. Anyways, I digress. Years ago, as a sixth grader, I started liking my name Will because of Will Smith. I started liking Bryant because of Kobe Bryant. That's a big reason. That and to honor the man's legacy and memory is a big reason why I decided to make that like a little tag of mine to end every episode with. It's my little stupid, silly little homage to the great Kobe Bryant. Bryant, like Kobe. So thank you to the Mamba, the Black Mamba, for making me proud of the Bryant name. But there was a time where I was not a fan of the name Will nor Bryant. And I did have another name that I was a fan of. I had another name that I did think was really cool. And I'm sure that if you were to I guess if you wanted to like do some head shrinking here, if you wanted to diagnose some type of psychological issue here, I'm sure you can find, me not realizing how, not being okay with who I am and being influenced more by, another type of society or whatever. But I always had an affinity for this other name. And that name is Kyle. Kyle. I remember I once asked my mom, why didn't you name me Kyle? And she looked at me like, ¿Qué? ¿Qué es Kyle? ¿Qué es un Kyle? ¿Quién se cayó? Who fell? ¿Alguien se cayó? What's that? You want a Kyle? ¿Qué es un Kyle? ¿Que tiene callos? You have calluses? Is that what he's... Que tiene calluses? That's what he's saying. ¿Qué quiere, Billy? ¿Qué quiere? That, actually, I don't want to be known as Billy. I want to be known as Kyle. There was I think it was Easter. I know where we were. We were at my uncle's house, my aunt and uncle's house in Nyack, a little upstate. And I'm pretty sure it was for Easter. And the family got together for Easter, and there was someone there. You know how you have your immediate family, and then you have like some cousins, like aunt's grandma or like something like that is not really related to you, but that you've seen them enough times at family functions that you're like, they're extended family. Like whenever the family tree doesn't exactly line up perfectly, the way that we explain that is extended family. There's second cousins that are actually second cousins, and then there are second cousins that in no way are related to you whatsoever, but still they're sharing your Easter dinner, so fuck it, they're family. That was kind of what this was. It was like some older lady, like not my grandma, but someone's grandma that was there at this Easter gathering. She brought like some younger woman, like girl, that was like her niece, great niece, daughter, I don't know. I met her once, never met her again. But I met her at a family function at my uncle's house. She had no idea. No one had ever met her before. She was essentially this stranger. And I was probably, I don't know, 11, 10, 11, maybe. Maybe not. I want 8 or maybe 8 to 10. Let's say 8 to 10. And, you know, when you're at a family function and you meet other people your age, suddenly all the parents start forcing us to hang out and go play. Remember that? Remember being 10 and meeting another 10-year-old for the first time ever, and immediately every fucking adult in the room just shoves you away and says, "Go play." And they didn't give a fuck what you did after that. They just wanted to be able to start drinking. God, I understand what the hell they felt like, man. I don't have a single kid, but as soon as I'm in the same room with one kid, the only thing I want to do is shove him into the opposite room and tell him to go play. Just go away and play. There are no toys here. Use your imagination. There's a floor and there are walls. That's basically a ring and ropes. Go be a wrestler. Go play. So I'm this young boy and I meet this young girl for the first time ever. They say, "Go play." And she tells me her name, and I don't remember what the fuck she said. And she asks me for my name. And I hate Bill. And I hate Bryant. And I don't introduce myself to anybody as Hernandez, so this was my opportunity, guys. This was my chance. You got one opportunity, one chance. This was my mom spaghetti moment. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom spaghetti. This was my lose yourself moment, and I took it. So when this little girl, this 10, 12-year-old girl, asked me, "What's your name?" I said, "My name is Kyle." And she said, "Hi, Kyle. My name's Jessica," or whatever. And we hung out. I don't know what the fuck we did. And I didn't think nothing of it. In fact, I just remember thinking, hell yeah, I'm finally cool, because now somebody finally thinks that I have a dope name. I'm fucking Kyle. I am Kyle. From this day forth, I will be Kyle. Time passes on. You know, we don't spend the whole day playing games or whatever. I did have some other cousins that I could fuck around with and bother. And so we separate at some point, and I remember. Here's why I remember it was Easter, and here's how I remember I was young, because I had colored some Easter eggs at home before coming to this Easter, family gathering. And so I put the Easter eggs on the table, and they were just in the middle, amongst the appetizers and the drinks and whatever. And I remember I walked into the kitchen for like a soda or something. And I see this older family friend, someone's grandma, holding my Easter eggs and showing them to young Jessica. And she's like, wait, what? Who made these? Obviously confused as she's holding up the egg. And the older lady's like, Willie made them. Little Willie. And Jessica's like, Willie colored these eggs? She's like, yeah. And Jessica's like, who is Willie? Who the hell is William? And this old lady's thinking that little Jessica's gone crazy. She's like, what do you mean you've been playing with him all day. You've spent the entire day with him. And she's like, I spent the entire day with William. I have not met anyone named William at all today. And I felt I could not have walked into that room at a worse time. Because I walked in to get a soda, and they both look up at me at the same time. And the old lady goes, see, there he is. And Jessica goes, who, Kyle? And this old lady's looking at me and looks at Jessica and looks back at me. She goes, who the hell is Kyle? And Jessica goes, that's Kyle. And the old lady goes, no, that's Willie. I wanted to crawl into a hole. And Jessica, I don't even know if that's her name. Let's call her Jessica. Jessica, little Jessie. She looks at me holding these colored eggs with the most confused look that anyone's had on an Easter Sunday. And she looks at me and she says, Kyle, is your name William? And I looked down at like my Easter Sunday best, the outfit my mom chose for me. And I looked up and I said, yes, my name's not Kyle. It's William. She didn't really talk to me for the rest of that Easter Sunday. yeah. Imagine that story ends with, and we've been married for 15 years. No, never spoke again. No, I'm pretty sure she never hung out with our family ever again. She went back to her family and was like, I never want to be around them ever again. They lie about their names for no reason. He's obviously like fucking Colombian and Puerto Rican, but he gave me the whitest name ever. I just decided to go with it, and then he got caught in his own lie because of a colored egg. I don't know why. Kyle. The thing is, I don't think that that's a good name now at all anymore. And no offense to any of you Kyles out there. In fact, every time I meet a Kyle, I have this moment where I'm like, oh, whew, I could have been that. Wow. Yeah. In fact, you know what? It's stupid. I would rather be that, I guess. You Kyles out there, you probably have better credit than I do. A better 401k. Hell, you have a 401k. Maybe even a house. Kyle. What's more embarrassing, Skydragon 2K or Kyle? Kyle 2K. Should be my DJ name, Kyle 2K. What if Skydragon 2K was my DJ name? What if I just couldn't cut it as Will Bryant anymore? And I just became Skydragon 2K on some marshmallow shit. And I'll wear a dragon outfit with wings. DJ like that. I'll figure it out with like my dragon arms. It'll be a whole thing. At some point, I'll fly through the air in the sky, DJing from the sky. Oh, man. Kyle Dragon. Kyle Dragon 2K. Special house set by Kyle Dragon 2K. KD 2K. Think we have something here? Kyle Dragon? That could be like my techno name. I'll be Will Bryant for house and then Kyle Dragon 2K for techno. Like when Deadmau5 is test pilot. I'll be Sky Dragon 2K. Should I trademark Sky Dragon 2K? I should now. Can I trademark Kyle? Is that out there? Is that available? Can I? What if Kyle was just my techno name? Just Kyle. Just Kyle. Straight up Kyle. One name. How many one name? Like Tiesto? Tiesto and Kyle. That's it. That'll be my fucking techno name. That's more accurate, too, for techno. Sky Dragon 2K sounds like it should be my dubstep name or something. Dum dum hard style. Dum 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 dum. And the Dragon War. Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum. It's Morphin time. Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum. Do 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 do. Dum 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 dum. That was a thing. The Green Ranger had to play a flute in a knife so that a dragon would rise from the fucking waters. Who taught Tommy the flute? He never took a flute lesson in his life. Imagine you finally got super. You know how we all dream of having superpowers? Like, oh, what would you do if you had superpowers? Well, what if, fucking, let's throw a fucking wrench in all that. What if I told you, bro, you could have superpowers right now. The only thing is to access them, you have to play the flute beautifully every time to access them. You have to hit F minor, D major, B flat every time. I don't know what the fuck, if that even is a thing. You have to do that. I have all the power in the world. All I have to do is hit. Are you kidding me? You know how long that would take me to figure out? I barely got by my piano courses when I went back to school. My crowning achievement is learning how to play the 3 keys, not even chords, not a chord, keys in Reload. That shit, that took me a semester of college as a 30-year-old adult to learn. I'm not proud of that. I'm a little proud of that. That shit was the hardest thing I did in my life. Imagine I get superpowers and they're like, play a sonata by Beethoven before you access them. Well, fuck. We need you to save the world, but first play this song. I guess we're all gonna die. World's over. Had a good run. Sorry, the fate of the world rests in your hands. No problem. I'll fight anybody. Let's go. First, play this song. Oops, gonna die. Well, we're all dead. All you have to do is play the flute beautifully. Well, you might as well fucking give me a math equation and say go. The hell? You might as well ask me to perform alchemy. When I went back to when I went back to school to learn music, and I saw how much talent my classmates had, I was like, well, I don't think raw talent is what I'm going to need to succeed in this one. Let's rephrase that. When I went back to school and I just saw how much better almost all my classmates were, just musically, just at playing instruments, at reading music, at singing, at everything, that's when I realized, oh, I'm going to need a different route, a different avenue to succeed other than talent. You know, there are people out there that they'll succeed in life because they're just so damn talented. Then there are other people in life that'll succeed just because they don't give up. I realized that's what I got to do. I realized, oh, my talent is basically non-existent. But my desire to keep trying, I might have something there. I remember I was one of the few people that I met when I went back to school that I still have some type of relationship or connection with now. This girl Brittany. Cheers. Wait. On the fucking floor, bro. That's what kind of fucking show this is. Anyways, when I went back to school, I had a lot of stuff that was changing in my life that was going the right way, like for the first time in a while. And by that, I mean, I had already I had gotten fired from like my career, and I took a risk and got a job at a bar just so I could go to school during the day. And when I first got the job at the bar, I was like a food runner. I was a bar back. You know, they didn't let me be a server till like, I don't know, like a half a year later. And then it probably took a whole other year and a half till they even let me start training to bartend. I had to bust my ass to get the chance to bartend. I thought at one point they weren't even going to let me try. And I had been wanting to bartend not just for as long as I've been in the industry, but I've been wanting to bartend since before I ever worked at a restaurant at all. In fact, I would have been a bartender so much sooner, but my mom didn't let me. Truly, I have this cousin who went to college, and whether or not this is exactly how it happened, I don't know. This is the story that like the aunts told each other, that he dropped out of college because of the amount of money he was making as a bartender, and said, well, screw it. If I could do this now, then what's the point? And never went back to school, never got his degree. So my mom always felt like if I ever became a bartender, I would not get my degree. So I didn't get a job at a bar, and I got regular jobs throughout like my early life. I went to college, and then joke's on her because I failed out anyways and ended up getting a job at a bar and becoming a bartender. It just took me an extra like 10 years to do it. And then I went back to school. So take that, Mom. That's what you get for naming me William. Why not Kyle? Kyle would have had a degree in finance and would have already been a quarter of the way through his mortgage. But no, you had to name me Will Bryant. And that is a college failing, podcast hosting, bartending comedian wannabe, son of a bitch. So that, so was it a summer? Yeah, I think it was a summer that I finally got to be a bartender. Was like just months after I went back to school, and it was just I just had a bunch of just just wins, little victories in life, you know. I remember there was this moment in the office where Kevin was going through some tough times, where like he had just had his fiance leave him, and him and Andy had this dumb little goal of theirs to get their parking spaces back from some people from the building, and they got it. And it was just like meaningless little victory, but Kevin, who had just been down in the dumps for so long, had this real nice moment where he was like, you know what? It's just nice to win one. And I felt like I had these, for sure, couple of months, if not at least a couple of years, where I just was stacking L on top of L on top of L. I was feeling like I was just losing a lot. And I got fired from my job, and I got a job at a restaurant, but I wasn't really doing what I wanted to do. And then in just the span of a couple of months, I went back to school for something I actually cared about, music production. Was learning, audio engineering, stuff like that. And finally got my shot to be a bartender, which truly, truly, truly changed my life. Getting a job in a restaurant was like what started the changes in my life, but becoming a bartender, that's when everything changed. Simply for the simple fact that money just changed right away. Suddenly I was making, almost double what I was making before. And never really looked back. But also just, my life was different as a bartenders live different lives than barbacks and food runners, So I just felt like I finally was stacking a couple of victories. So I had a really positive attitude at that time in college. And I brought up my friend Brittany, and she was, she had just graduated high school and went right into college, and then I'm this old ass fucking 30-year-old that only felt like I did some good things in life, at that age. And I was just so pumped, and I was just all about like, well, fuck it. Like you gotta make the best of it. You gotta do this, you gotta do that. It was all just a lot of drive and positivity and hustle and just, it was, I did not have, she's an amazing singer. I was friends in school with like some dope guitarists and piano players and other singers and drummers, and I had none of that. But what I did have was this just drive, this desire, this work ethic, I told them, I was like, you guys are all more talented than me. And my goal is still to do better than you. But I'm not going to do it by singing better. I'm not going to do it by composing a better song or drumming a better pattern. I have to do it by just trying fucking harder. And that's what I have over you guys, is that you are coming into this class 18, 19, some of you 17. And I know that there's a part of me that should look at that as a negative for me. I wish I was your age doing this. But you know what? If I was your age doing it, I'd fail out all over again, just like I did in college the first time around. I needed to get my ass kicked. I needed to taste failure. And then, when I finally did get those wins in life, that tasted better than anything else I was ever forced to taste in my life before. And my friend Brittany, she one day, she was like, you know what you remind me of? She was like, have you ever heard of this guy, Gary Vee? And at the time I hadn't. And she was like, he's just always so fucking like motivated, and like you remind me of that. And at the time, right now, I'm probably not at that level that I was before. I think COVID gave me a lot of L's that took me down a couple of notches. But this was pre-COVID. You got to remember that. This is before every bartender lost their job, and this is before I ever, was that broke again. She like put me onto Gary Vee, and although I don't always listen, I love the hustle mentality, but I also don't agree with the notion that you should be hustling 100% of the time of your life or whatever, and blah blah. There are people out there in social media that you should take good things from them and just ignore whatever doesn't work for you. Anyone that follows one social media person and follows them 100%, good luck. But she told me, like, yeah, you remind me of this guy because you're just so fucking, like, I don't know, motivated. Like you just, everything is just fuck it, work harder, fuck it, just do it. And at that time, that's how I felt. Because everyone else there, dude, they were just so talented, so talented. I mean, I still find a lot of them to be way more talented. I keep in touch with a good amount of them. I say that, but I mean, do I really? If you're friends on Instagram and like will like each other's stuff randomly and sometimes comment, does that count as keeping in touch? I don't know. But wow, you know what's funny? The fact that I got to this point all because of talking about Tommy needing to play the flute to summon the dragon. And me saying that I have no talent, so I would never be able to be the Green Ranger. Basically, I have no musical talent, so I would never be able to be the Green Ranger. I would just have this dagger and play it like and no fucking dragon would ever come out. Then I'd give it to one of my talented friends and they'd be like, "Oh, you mean?" And then fucking the sky dragon arrives. As always, I look at my notes and I'm like, well, didn't talk about anything that I really wrote down. I wrote down Kyle and humor versus comedy. And I thought that would be my intro. And I had a bunch of other shit. I was going to talk to you about fucking, I found some Snow White shit kind of interesting, but you know what? I don't really fucking want to talk about that shit anymore. So you guys are just going to have to figure that shit out on your own. I will end on this one quick thing because last week I ended on me realizing or talking about the moment I realized what the lyrics to OPP were and correcting the acoustic band about getting the lyrics to Sweetest Girl wrong. And it reminded me of this other story that I had in my notes that, bro, this has been in my notes for like years. And it was just this moment where a friend of mine, he's more of a friend, but still I'll call him a friend. I consider him a friend. He got the lyric to a song so terribly wrong in the most like innocent way. I remember, so it was, all I remember for sure is I know it was me, Tony, and his childhood friend Josh. And I think Brian, I was with Brian and James also, I think. But for sure it was like us, and we were walking down some sidewalk in Jackson Heights. We probably had just smoked some weed somewhere, I don't know. And at that time, what was that song? That Lil Jon and was the Yin Yang Twin song? To the window, to the wall, to the sweat drip down your balls. All these females crawl. You remember that song, right? What fuck? What was the name of that song? Is it Get Low? Get low, get low, get low. Get low, get low, get low. Yeah, it is Get Low, right? I'm gonna look up the lyrics right now. Yeah. But there's a specific. Okay, where is it? There's a specific line that I will never forget because of. Oh, was it not from this song? Let me see. Yep. All right. It is from this song. Get Low, Lil Jon and the East Side Boys. I just want to find the exact portion. Oop. Bear with me, guys. We're either way. We were walking somewhere. I don't remember where. Probably doing hood rat things, doing dumbass things somewhere. Definitely high. I don't know about drunk. We weren't always drunk back then. That's more of a us now thing. And we were talking about this song, and here we go. I found it. It's right in the first verse, of course. And Josh starts talking about the first verse, and he was like, he said he sang out loud. He goes, "Now can I play with your dandelion?" And I just remember Tony going, like, stopping in his tracks, and he's like, "What?" And if you remember, like, that verse, it's like, can we just play it? Can we just? This is like a sample. I wonder if it's gonna let me play the whole thing. No. We need to listen. I'm not gonna pay any more than I have to, which is $0. All right, here we go. YouTube, you don't film it. It's gonna play me some fucking commercial. It's a Nas commercial, so I ain't even that mad though. It's called Icons Delight. Oh, Nas is in a Sprite commercial? No doubt. Sprite's going back to their roots, just fucking being the hip hop soda again, right? Nice. I remember there was this skit on SNL when Black Jeopardy, and they had this joke commercial. It was like, and the tagline was Sprite. How did we become the black soda? Which is kind of true. I don't understand why it was like. Remember when Drake had a commercial for Sprite? Last name ever, first name greatest. I'm like a sprained ankle, boy. Ain't nothing to play with. Which, by the way, is the like wackest like first line ever in hip hop. That is also somehow like really quotable. Okay, ready? Is it coming? Yeah. I might have even passed it already. I did. I love that you guys are listening at home. You're like, God damn it, just say the lyric already. Well, I did. I said the wrong line. Can I play with your dandelion? Ready? The lyric is, can I play with your panty line? Which, honestly, kind of weird. Can I play with your panty line? But Josh heard it different. He said, Can I play with your dandelion? Dandelion. Can I play with your dandelion? And Tony stopped in his tracks and he said, what the fuck did you just say? And Josh was like, dandelion. And Tony's like, dude, it's panty line. The fuck is a dandelion? He ain't playing with flowers. And Josh was like, oh, I thought like dandelion meant, like his. I thought it meant her pussy, And he like whispered pussy because he was afraid someone in Jackson Heights was going to hear him say the word. Oh, I thought a dandelion sounds like her pussy. I don't know. I thought. I never forgot that. And I will, in my head, I always sing it as dandelion. Dandelion. Yeah. Can I play with your dandelion? Yeah. Can I play with your dandelion? Yeah. That. Can I play with your dandelion? Dandelion would actually be a dope fucking euphemism. Because I don't really like saying pussy. I don't know why. Like moist. Isn't it weird that people have a problem with the word moist? And then there's another like sect of people that have a problem with the word pussy. And the worst thing you could ever do is have a marriage between these two so that we would be forced to say moist pussy back to back. Whoo, that would just be a war of the worlds, wouldn't it? But if you told me that I could use dandelion instead of pussy, hell, and instead of moist, I'd just call it pretty. Just pretty dandelion. I would say that over and over again. But moist pussy, I ain't never fucking saying that. Except now, on a podcast that I'll publish to the world. And it'll be on record for the rest of my life. But that's it. Can I play with your dandelion? Can I? I thought I was going to name this episode just Kyle. But I might have just found the name of the episode right here in my closing moments. Thank you, Josh. Like fucking 15 years later. We barely even talk. It's one of those friendships that I have where we are friends on Instagram and sometimes like each other's pictures. Good dude, though. Pure of mind. Not panty line. Dandelion. Imagine that's how I end every show, like from here on out, is like just by having some type of epiphany. I reveal either an epiphany of my own or an epiphany that my friends had. All revolving lyrics and their true meanings. Because going down, down, baby, yo street in a Range Rover. That blew my mind. OPP standing for other people's pussies and other people's penises. That blew my mind. And apparently cannot play with your panty line blew my friend's mind because he always thought it was cannot play with your dandelion. It wasn't. It wasn't. Oh, man. Playing with dandelions, playing with podcasts, playing with that like and subscribe button. It's all good, just as long as you be sure to do it. Guys, please be sure to rate and review, like and subscribe, do all that good shit, all that boring shit. If you're one of my friends that like listen all the time and you've never done one of those things, thank you and fuck you. Like at the same time. Really? Fucking halfway friends. You're like halfway crooks, man. Halfway friends. Be a full friend. Like and subscribe. Rate. All that shit. Follow me on all platforms at I'm Will Bryant. That's 3 words. At I'm Will Bryant. That's BRYANT. like Kobe. Thank you guys. As always, I'm your host. I'm Will Bryant. And until next time, play with your dandelions. And peace. Can I play with your dandelion?